Confidence is about how you see yourself. Welcome to the Uniquely Confident Podcast. Yo, what it do? It's RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman, and this is the Uniquely Confident Podcast. What it do, my people out there? I'm super excited because today I got a special guest. I got a homie and a big bro on the line. We're about to chop it up real dope. But before we do that, you know, around here, we got to do what we must do, and we got to pay the bills. We got to talk to the big man upstairs. So with that being said, Father, we thank you for another day. We're grateful for our life and our health and our strength. Help us to be the men that we always need to be for our family, our friends, and our loved ones. Keep us to be motivated, strong, and we also may be the foundation of our families. And these things we do pray to the majesty and the power of the only one we can pray to, the Creator. Amen.
Amen.
Now, for the bills around this awesome place, but guess what? All your fitness needs, you're going to go have to holler at this guy over at Quantum Fitness. I'm telling you right now, over the last 3 months, guys, my body has went through traumatic change. And it's continually happened weekly. I have a personal trainer that's absolutely board certified and phenomenal at what he does. So for all your fitness needs, holler at them guys over at Quantum Fitness. Tell him that the Imperfect Gentleman sent you from the Uniquely Confident Podcast, and he will definitely give you a discount on all the services. Let him know I said so. Appreciate you. Now we're down to get to business. In this podcast today, y'all, we are going to have a conversation with my homeboy, and a great guy of mine, Travis Believes. Welcome to the stage, my guy.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, listen, I'm blessed and highly favored, man. I'm super excited.
That's what I like to hear, man. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me, man.
Yeah, man. No problem. It's a pleasure being here, man. I'm super excited, man, to connect with brothers such as yourself, man. That's giving out positive messages that helps continue to evolve our brothers and sisters to a higher plateau, man. So we can connect, man. Create a better life for all of us.
Man, listen, that's the goal, right? That's the plan. That's the motivation. And I'm super duper excited because this right here is actually episode 1 of my new podcast. You know what I mean? So you about to kick it off in a major way, and everybody who comes behind you gonna have to follow up. You know what I mean? So set the tone for them. You know what I mean? So I'm excited, bro. This podcast is literally near and dear to me because I understand that we're all uniquely confident in different ways of our lives, and it all comes from certain places. So before we get into it, just let everybody know who you are and a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, so my name is Travis Believes. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I run a social media agency called Inner Light Media. Been in this social media space for over 10 years now, over a decade. And it came from me understanding that I needed to be, or at least be in control of my own destiny, right? Became an entrepreneur because I needed to be in control of my own destiny and what I could be. And I know I couldn't be that in a 9-to-5. And so once I realized that and I created my own space and understood that I had to have the confidence to do it, I began on my journey, and here I am now, man.
Man, and I'm glad you even said that, because so many of us, we have the skills, right? We have the trades and we have everything else, but we just don't have the confidence in ourselves to actually go forth and put those tools and things into action. So we're going to dive into that right there. But I also wanted to ask you really quick was what made you have the confidence you have, and like, where did your confidence come from?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. So my confidence came in. It was kind of like a multifaceted thing, right? So I ended up, I grew up in St. Louis, right? Very poor, in group homes. Never met my dad. Mom was on drugs. And we was in children's homes. For anybody that doesn't know, children's homes are state-run facilities,
right?
To where you're not living with your parents, right? And so I grew up with a lot of other displaced youth as well, and I ended up in prison. And what I realized throughout this entire time frame was that whether I was younger, living around a bunch of other displaced youth, or in jail, living around a bunch of men, everybody had a mask on, right? Everybody was pretending to be something they was not. They was pretending to be these tough guys, pretending to be a certain type of way. Literally watched people tone down who they was in order to appeal to other people. And when I got out of jail, I realized that there are more people out of jail with this mask on than there are people in jail. And I started to realize that we're just nobody's living up, not nobody, but so many people are not living up to truly who they are, but instead they're living up to what they think other people think about them.
Right.
And so I realized I couldn't be my happiest self. I couldn't be my best self until I broke free from that. Once I was able to break free from that, I became confident in who I was and my abilities and what I can accomplish, right? And so once I became confident in what I was and who I could be and what I wanted to do for my future, I started diving into that. I became good at the things that I tried to do because I wasn't worried about the opinions of other people. And then I started helping other people in that. And then when I started helping other people in that, other people started to recognize my talent. And then I started charging people for that. And then once I started charging people, that took me to the next level.
Man, so basically your confidence came from when you have the awakening, the realization of the fact that there's a level of you that you're not living up to, right?
Exactly.
And for me, like, and it's crazy because this is the exact reason I created this podcast, T, because a lot of guys that I coach, it takes us so long just to get to that very point right there. That very point of understanding that, like, I don't have to live up to someone else's expectations. I have to find out what my expectations for me are and then live into those.
Yeah.
And once you have that understanding, and I call it a realization and a awakening, it's easy to be confident then because now you know what you are. It's not a guess anymore. It's not a pretend.
Yep. And I think the key is really once you get to a place where you're not concerned or overly invested, I should say, in other people's judgment.
Right.
When you are more so focused on building up who you are and who you want to be, and that's your focus, that's the only time you can actually live in your freest self, when you can live in your most authentic self. Because now you're making decisions based upon you and you alone and what you want to accomplish. And there's a sacrifice to be made. And that sacrifice is going to be relationships. That sacrifice is going to be certain activities you may have been used to doing, right? Because certain people are going to want you to stay the same and continue doing the same things. But to be honest with you, those people that may fall off are the people that you don't necessarily want in your life like that anyway.
Exactly. And anyone who is not, this is one of my biggest sayings. If anyone is not around you nurturing and helping you manifest the person you wanted to be, they're actually holding you back to the person that you used to be. They're keeping you from your goal. They're keeping you from your actual destination. And you don't want nobody that's around you or part of your team that's intentionally keeping you back. It doesn't make sense.
That's a fact. Yeah, I think a lot of times, and it's very hard. Like, so for example, I come from the hood, so it's very hard to leave that alone. You got so many people that looked at you a certain type of way, right? It's hard to leave that alone because these people won't look at you the same. We get so caught up in, wanting validation from other people and wanting a certain level of respect. Like, we literally get paralyzed from making different decisions because we're scared of that thought process. And I seen it. It's like I instantly seen it once I got in jail. I said, "Oh, this person, these people are doing this because they want this person to think this, and this person wants them to think this." And it's just like, I was seeing 50-year-old guys still gangbanging. I'm like, bro, and I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
because you got this reputation, and you're scared to lose this reputation that you have.
Right.
Oh, you're 20 years old and you're trying to build your reputation.
Right.
You want these people to respect you the way other people are respecting these OGs. Oh, I get it. You want to look like that you're really hard. You think this is the way to show your value.
Right.
I started seeing, I'm like, oh, this is all a game.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing outside of jail, right? Completely. Just jail is when I woke up. But outside of jail, people are doing these jobs or buying these cars and all this and the other. They're in mental prison, trying to do all this other type of stuff.
Anyone else, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yep.
So let me ask you another question, T. What about you? What is so unique about you that gives you the confidence that you have? Like it has to be something that makes Travis Travis. What is it? What is that one thing that you know about yourself that just gives you that confidence to be yourself?
So I think it's a false belief to think that anybody's always going to be confident all the time, which is the reason why it's important to build a circle, right? It goes back to that circle. There's going to be times of frustration. There's going to be times of lamentation. There's going to be times of even depression. I went through every single emotion to get to where I'm at today. Every single thing that you can think of, not thinking I'm going to make it, but when you surround yourself around positive people that are there for you, and want to see you succeed, into your future and that are pouring into you, then you can overcome those things much easier because you're not living in this constant fear of judgment and this constant fear of trying to prove to people. So I don't want to make it seem like I have this ultimate confidence that it can never be shaken. It gets shaken. You know what I'm saying? Like when you surround yourself around the right people, that's when things change. So the truth is, once you start living in your truth of who you are is what I like to call it ultimate authenticity, meaning like you are making your decisions for you. You know who you are as a person, and when you see like, hey, this is who I want to be 10 years from now, you understand what do I have to become to get there, and then you start surrounding yourself around those people. My confidence isn't necessarily more or better than any of those people I was just talking about, whether they're in jail or outside of jail. It's not that. It's just the focus of my confidence is different. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I am now surrounded around people who are pouring into me. That's really the only difference. So I am focusing my confidence in areas that I know I am good at and can improve on and that are actually beneficial to my life than areas that are actually destructive.
And man, like you hit on something that I just posted about, bro, about that environment, about having people around you to pour into you in the spaces where you need it. Because you also said something that was very powerful, that you're not always confident. And that's why I tell even the guys that I coach, this is not an all the time thing. Like I purposely schedule out days of my week in my coaching schedule just so that I don't have anyone on that Wednesday. Because I know that, but after I'm dealing with 10 guys on a Monday, 12 on a Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm stressed. Like I've had enough. You know what I'm saying? It's time for me to rejuvenate. Because at the end of the day, like I'm human, right? So the same RJD that's gonna stand up on these platforms, I'm the same dude that's everybody else when I leave these platforms. I got the same issues, I got the same insecurities, I got the same hangups and idiosyncrasies. I got all of them. But what just makes me different is the fact that I know how to deal with them. And the only difference between me and anybody else is that me and myself and Travis, and we've learned to deal with them and put that into a package so that we can help somebody else. But I tell everybody that I coach that we're no better than nobody else. I don't want that to be even remotely the idea here that somehow we're better than anyone else. No, you're looking at two individuals who's been from the streets, who understands what it means not to have, who understands what it means to on a Monday, you don't know what you're going to eat on a Tuesday. Like it is real. But guess what? After change, right? After understanding, awakening, and then application of those things, right? It's the application of those things that we've learned that actually changed our life and shifted our perspective. So the next question I have for you, and really the last question I have before we really just have to sit back in conversation, is that what was one of your struggles that you really believe was the reason you have more confidence now? Because I truly believe that our confidence comes out of struggle, right? Me right now going to the gym for the last 3 months of my personal trainer, I'm a lot more confident in my body now, taking my shirt off and at the beach than I was 3 months ago. But I had to go through the struggle of getting under that weight, of doing all kinds of things that my body wasn't accustomed to doing. So it was painful, and it still is painful, but that's what's getting me through it. So my question to you is, what struggle in your life has made you more confident?
Well, the old saying, competence is confidence, right? You can't be confident in something that you are not competent in. That's just arrogance, right? A lot of people don't know the difference between, them being arrogant versus what's confidence. And that it just comes down to two things, being competent and being present. And what that means is when you're present, you're living in the present moment. What happens is you don't take for granted being successful or doing great things, because you know it can be taken away from you anytime. Just because you were amazing today and you were doing amazing things right now, you don't know if you're going to perform at that high level the next day. So you don't want to be arrogant. You just want to be confident that you can do it. See what I'm saying? So for me, how I got to that level was I started understanding the things that I love doing, right? And then when I started meeting people that I like being around, then I started investing in that. So when you invest money in things, you want a return on your investment, right?
Right.
But when you're invested emotionally, you want to contribute, right? So when I meet with people that I actually like being around and I actually want to see them succeed, then I contribute to them. Right. And what I contributed to them was the things that I loved doing. And then once I contributed things that I loved doing, I became good at it. I didn't become good at it when I thought I became good at it. I became good at it when they told me I was good at it. Mm-hmm. So when they told me I was good at it, that's when I realized, oh, okay, I see what this person is talking about. I am good at this, right? And so now that I got several people telling me I'm good at something, oh, okay, now other people are asking me, like, how can I help them do the same thing? And so I started helping them, and then they became successful. And they're like, okay, so this is a thing now. So now I'm confident, right? I'm confident because I was at one point unsure of my talent, and now I am sure of my talent because of the results.
Right.
And so now I'm confident that I can do this, right? And when I became confident that I can do this based upon the results of the things that I did, because I loved contributing to things that I was doing, then it became much easier for me. See, it becomes easy for you when you're contributing to things that you love doing, that you feel good about, things that you can see value in, things that you see that you're actually taking it to the next level and helping evolve humanity for the better. When you are taking your skills and your talent and the things that, even things that you may not know how to do, and you're actually adding a contribution to people, then you start to feel good about that. And then once you start seeing the results, you start becoming confident about it. And so that's where my confidence came from. It came from me really understanding, where I was at the time when I was growing, and then where I am now in the present day, and then where I can be, So once I started really understanding and diving into that, and then helping people and seeing the results, at that time, I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew what I wanted to become, and I knew how I wanted to contribute. And then that's when, quote unquote, really becoming a man came for me, because now I was able to contribute in a way that I can control, and have an impact on people's lives, and make an income, and feel good about it, and be around the people that I wanted to be around. And it's that I started to understand the purpose of life then.
Yo, T, bro, and this is why I'm so glad about this podcast, because shout out to my man Dave Shans. He said, you create a podcast when you're truly interested and you just want to know. Bro, this truly intrigues me. Just to hear it is and understanding where yours comes from it's enlightening and also encouraging, because it's like, yo, yeah, our uniqueness is actually that we're almost the same if you think about it, because what drives us, we're all driven by something. Is what difference that comes in between us is what drives us, right? We all have drivers. What drives us to do something, but what differentiates us is what the difference is. Actually, for me, when I actually really think about where my confidence comes from and my struggle, is the fact that I didn't have a father, right? So being that I have a father is everything that I've learned in my life, I figured out on my own, right? I've had to go through some things to learn something. And when you say that competence is confidence, it's when I first walked out to the street on my own, I know nothing, and I wasn't confident about anything. I was scary. I didn't know what was going to happen. But it wasn't until situations and things happened to where I was to be able to recognize certain things and see certain things, and understand energy, places, people. And that right there was, I started understanding more about people. I realized this person over here is just like me. He's just trying to survive just like I am.
Yep.
We all come from the same space, and that's why it also allows me now to have such a cooler head, to not to fly off the hinge no more. And shout out to our homeboy James Penn, because he even mentioned a book to me that actually helped me out. The 4 Agreements and that book right there helped me understand why people show up the way they show up. And it's I'm no longer offended by you having a bad day or whatever happened to you and me coming in contact with you in that moment, and no longer makes me feel like I'm less of a man because I'm allowing you to vent to me and you don't realize that you're venting, right? I had a situation recently where a gentleman was literally screaming at me like I was the person that was doing something to him. And the old me would have riled up and bucked back at him. But me now understanding where he's obviously come from a space where he needs to get this off his chest, I was in a space where I could just receive it and be like, yo, you know what, bro, it's going to be all right. Like, I'm not going to be here to combat you. I'm actually a space for right now, a safe space for you to say, you know what, I need some help right now. And you might not use those words, but I understand now that it's not you, that you're not combating me. You're not coming at me or the man. You just need some space. You just need some help right now. And I think that if we all start understanding that and really having confidence in ourselves and not that ego that we spoke about earlier or that pride, then we can be more compassionate and empathetic to people around us.
So it's funny that you said it. Here's the thing. Watch this. Once you become confident in who you are and your contributions, guess what? You're not jealous of other people.
Right.
You don't have that ego because you're happy. Oh, I'm contributing this way, but that man is contributing that way. How can we come together and build?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. It's a whole mindset.
Exactly. But the ego comes in is when you feel insecure about yourself because you're like, oh, this dude thinks he's tougher than me. Oh, this dude thinks he has more money than me. Oh, this dude thinks he gets more girls than me. And this is like if you think about this for a second, right? Why is that something we even fight over? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got more money than me. You got more girls. Like, why are we fighting over this? Is so silly.
It makes no sense in the long run.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like, you know, that's what happens, and it's just like we have these fights over silly, meaningless things. When it all comes down to it, it's because we're not confident in ourselves, right? We don't believe in ourselves enough, and that's part of the problem. When we start believing in ourselves more, and we respect the contributions that we make, then we can respect the contributions that other people make, and then we can just come together more.
And now earlier too in the statement you made, I want to go back to this too. You said arrogance and confidence. Do the listeners a favor and break down the difference, because I have my standpoint on it, but I would love for you to give yours.
Yeah, arrogance is when you're boasting about something that you're not really sure about. You know, you're speaking and you're not really talking about who you are. You're speaking about what you want people to think about you. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, if I'm confident in who I am, I don't need to force any thoughts on you. Right. I don't need to force you to believe anything. My record will speak for itself, or my actions will speak for itself. But when I want you to think something, or want you to have a perception about me, when I'm not really confident in who I am, and I have to try to force these thoughts onto you for you to believe me, then I start making these declarations about myself, or things like that I don't really have to make. So it's just like, I'm the best basketball player in the world. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan knows he's the best because other people tell him he's the best.
Right.
Right. He doesn't have to tell you. Other people tell you. You see what I'm saying?
True.
And it's the same thing when it comes to ourselves. When I'm doing the things that I'm doing, I don't, like me and you talking. You tell me, yo, Travis, this is what I learned. I don't have to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now,
Right.
If I just came out and just started telling you,
right?
Like, oh, I'm this, is that, and the other. You're gonna be like, bro, I ain't seen none of that. You know what I'm saying? What you telling me?
Like, what's wrong with this dude, man?
You trying to convince yourself. You know
Right.
So at the end of the day, the difference just comes down to one thing. You know what I'm saying? If I am trying to force thoughts on you about myself, about what I'm capable of doing, or my abilities, it's coming from a place of arrogance. Mm-hmm. If I am confident in who I am, I don't need to do any of that. I don't need to impress you. All I need to do is show up as I am.
Right.
And, be confident in that, and my results will speak for themselves, and you'll form your own opinion.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you broke that down, because one thing I've said to people before is that when I see someone else, and the difference between confidence and cocky for me is the level of self-esteem, right? Because confidence is a belief, right? Self-esteem is respect and honor you have for yourself. It's the respect and honor. So if you have a belief without the respect and honor, that's an equivalent to being cocky or arrogant. Because like you said, you're just talking, you're just letting it flow out the mouth, and there's no substance. But when your confidence and your self-esteem is at the unique equal levels, to me, that's full confidence, that's full understanding, and that's full on, as well as a high confidence is showing high character as well. Because if a person is telling you he's confident in himself, but he doesn't respect or love or honor himself, the man is lying. And that right there equates to cocky, because then you could poke holes and you can find that there's loopholes in this person. But a true confident person understands, like, yo, I don't have to impress you because I've already impressed myself.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need your approval because I already proved myself.
Yep.
So me just like you said, me just showing up as who I am is enough. And I don't have to force myself upon you or my beliefs. And that right there, that's what I really want everybody to really take away from this, is that just because you are who you are doesn't mean somebody else is less than who they are. Exactly. Like right now, because I'm RJD doesn't make Travis less of a man. Yeah. And like, just because Travis is here doesn't make me less of an individual. Like, we're two confident men and understanding who we are and our gifts and what we bring to the world. And like you said, Travis, what can you provide? What do you offer? What do you bring to the table? And exactly. Once we understand that right there, man, I think that's the real game changer.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%, man. 100%.
Bro, and so when you sit here and you think back over your life right now, what will be one of the one things you wish you would have learned earlier? So just say if we're talking to a younger crowd right now, to a younger gentleman right now, what would you say to this young man about confidence and believing in himself?
The importance of integrity and honor. You know, for me early on, I didn't value integrity and honor the way I should have. The truth is, when you're honorable, right, when you are operating with integrity, not only are you able to use your talents in a way that's beneficial, because just think about this for a second, right? The only difference between some drug dealer and some CEO is their integrity and honor. That's really the only difference. Right. And by the way, let me be very clear. I do want to say this. These CEOs too is actually worse than
drug dealers, right?
You know, but understand the point that I'm making, right? Fact. The point that I'm making here is that you can take those same skills and do it in a positive endeavor. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's like we want to make money, mm-hmm. and we're willing to kind of like do anything at expense of that. And I know for me, when I was younger, I felt like if a person had it and I didn't, because I was a robber. I wasn't, I didn't sell drugs. I used to rob people. So for me, my thought process was, if they had it, they can get it back again. But I need this right now. You know what I'm saying? That was my thought process. Wow. And so, that obviously led me in jail, and that could have got me killed. Right. I was in multiple dangerous situations that could have landed me 6 feet below. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I feel like if you know integrity, right, and you have honor, then at the very least, you'll be able to use your talents and your gifts and the things you like to do in positive ways that can at least move you forward in life, right? Mm-hmm. It's always going to have a positive benefit for you in life. And that's just the bottom line. You want to continue to have an upward trajectory in terms of moving forward in life, at least having some sort of progress. And you'll always have that if you're moving with integrity. People always want to be around you. People will always like you. You always make good connections, and life is about the connections that you make, because the connections that you make is going to determine how far you can go.
And yo, T, man, this is how I know, like God is amazing, because you just spoke about integrity, and that's the first letter of the operation of my program. And I hone in on integrity, bro, because what people don't realize, your integrity is only what you do and what you say, and you keep it, and you keeping your word. Mm-hmm. And it's not just keeping your word in front of people that matters the most, but it's you keeping your word when you're by yourself, to yourself. Because one thing I've learned is that my level of confidence skyrocketed when I stopped lying to myself. Right? When I stopped telling myself one thing and knowing that it's something else is happening. Like if I was telling you, yo, T, I'm going to the gym every day, I'm working out. No, like I was lying. But now that I'm actually doing it, I'm way more confident. I don't have to tell you no more. The proof is in the pudding. If you follow me through my social media, or you walk through a day of mine, you're gonna realize at least 3 of my hours of my day is in the gym now. And I don't have to say that anymore, right? I don't have to put that out there. It's actually just being shown now because of my level of integrity. And this is the one thing I've learned more than anything. Like if you honest and true to yourself, you don't have to worry about nobody else. Like, everybody else is gonna fall in line. If you're honest and have integrity with yourself, everyone else is gonna just fall in line and have that certain level of respect for you. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth, T. When I first met you, as I do right now, is a certain level of respect. But that comes from you, how you carry yourself. That comes from the thing that you do when I don't see you. That comes from the way you carry yourself when there's no one else watching. And that's the one thing I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that was a part of the notes, but I even trimmed over it because the conversation was so good. But man, that integrity portion is beyond important. Like,
yeah, keeping your honor intact as a man and operating off that principle, not only is going to keep you out of trouble, but it's going to keep you moving forward. It's going to keep you build. It's going to keep you as a builder. You know what I'm saying? You know, if the foundation is honor, you know, you're gonna become a builder automatically, because you know you're building off the principle of truth. The foundation, whatever foundation you're building, has to come from truth. It has to come from a strong standpoint, and there's nothing stronger than having integrity. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how skillful you are or how good you are. It's not built on integrity and honor, then it's going to be fragile.
Facts. And let me tell you, man, if anybody understands it, it's me, because I had this remarkable gift to being an extrovert. I had the ability to control the room and be the life of the party, right? But back then, I didn't realize I was using it as a mechanism to keep everyone away from my insecurities, right? Because I really wasn't doing the work. Like my integrity was low because I was portraying one thing, but I was really living something else. But it wasn't until I actually said, you know what, the image that I'm portraying on the outside, I really got to start living. I really got to start taking the time and finding out what RJD is about, what Roderick is about. I got to dig deeper into myself. And let me tell you, the fruits of it are what we're sitting in right now. Because 10 years ago, bro, I was literally a mess. Thought I was the man. Like I got a couple grand in my pocket, a few grams of work, and a couple things around the city. So I'm feeling like, oh, I'm on top of the world. But the truth of the matter is that's small things to a world that's limitless. But I couldn't open my eyes and see the real world until I was able to really start being the man I thought I was. Right. Yeah. And I was trying to portray to the world. Then I started really being that man, and things started happening differently.
I feel you on that, man. Now I think that's something we all went through. I thought I was the man too when I was doing my thing, man. That stuff was so small, man. So small, man.
So small. Yo, T, I used to be amped having $1,000, bro. Like, I just made a stack today. Yeah.
Yeah. I almost don't even want to go down this hole, but like I remember thinking, yeah, if I rob a dice game and I get 1,500, 2,000, I thought that was cool too. Like if I hit a lick, man, and was able to pull 5 to 10 stacks off of it, I thought that was it was good. You do one of those, a couple times a month, man, and you making some decent money, man. But
the integrity portion.
Yeah, but more than that, it's just not only is it dishonorable, but it's just a whack way of thinking. It's a whack way of living. It's a whack way of you. I mean, you literally risking your life for what?
For nothing.
For money?
Fragments.
For 5K, 5,000. Like, yo, what are you doing, man? Like, this is silly, man. And
but you know what that even tells me too? The understanding and the value of life in itself, bro. Like, because we didn't really have a value or understanding for it.
Yeah.
And like, just think about like now, like as I'm 36 year, and like, man, like my eyes is like, oh wow, all those years I was on autopilot, just thinking that I was doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now that I actually seen life for what it really is now at this space, is like I'm just grateful for number one opportunity now to be better.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm grateful for every single morning now is an opportunity just to be better, bro. Like if it's no more than making up my bed today because I didn't make it yesterday, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still 1% better, and that's my strive every day. And I think that we all should go after.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think as long as we have the idea of becoming better each day, if you just have the idea, hey, how can I become 1% better today? Then every year you're going to be 365% better. So for me, I had to. And this is the thing too. You don't have to know what you want to become. You actually don't have to know. You just have to start with, how do I do the right thing? Right. You know, once you start with how do I do the right thing, then you can, because here's the thing, even if you know what your talents or your gifts are, you can't even really contribute correctly to the world, or you can't even contribute correctly until you know how to use it in an honorable way.
Right.
You know? So, you know, if you just learn honor and respect and integrity first, then start, you know, learning your talents and your gifts and then how to use them, you know, then everything falls into place. The thing is, you don't even have to be the best. That's the crazy thing about it. You don't have to be the best. As long as people like you and you become talented at whatever you like to do, you can earn a living from it, you know?
Right. And it's honestly, and it doesn't matter what it is. Like you said, as long as it's honorable and it's stand up, it's what you have to offer. And let me tell you, one of the deepest things I've realized, and I heard a pastor say it a few years ago, it was like one of the saddest places in the world is the graveyard, because that's where so much potential lies at. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where so many of like what we need as a people resides in the ground, because they didn't let it out. They didn't have an opportunity, or they didn't exude what they had to give to the world. And that's the one thing that scares me the most now. And that's why I go so hard, like why I'm creating this platform and I'm doing the things that I'm doing, because it's like when I close my eyes that final time, I want to be empty. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be completely empty, bro. I wanted to be
empty. Yeah,
that's it. I want to be tired when I glow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what?
All I got.
Lord, take me. You know what I mean? I want to be like,
I gave it all I got. Yeah.
That's it, man. And that right there, I believe that's a job well done. And like now that at this stage of my life, like I see both my kids growing up, my daughter just turned 5, my son soon to be 4. And when I feel like I just held them last week when they first came out. I feel like that was just last week. And with that sense of time, is like reminded me like, yo, I can't play no more. Like I can't afford to waste no more time with my own hangups, right? I really got to deal with my insecurities so I can be more confident to help more people to make a bigger impact. And that's my thought process now, T, because I've learned that over the last couple of years, man, like just seeing what I've seen and knowing what I've come from, like you said earlier about being held back. That's the reason I moved to South Florida, bro. I moved because I knew there was no way in the world the man you see right now could be who he is in New York. There was no way possible, because I would constantly have to fight to prove myself that I'm moving forward rather than just moving forward. It would have constantly been like, yo, listen, yo, you still that dude. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And then that no, I'm not, I would have got violent. Something would have happened. You see what I'm saying? And then here I am now in a different atmosphere, different space, and I'm able to see myself for who I truly am now and able to operate in my gifts and my talents. And that's made the difference. Like, yo, T, I haven't worried about a bill since I've learned who I am. That's crazy. Like since I figured out and I started understanding that what my gifts and how to operate productively to the world, bro. Things have changed dramatically. I'm talking about in the last 2 years. And that's why I'm so pressed to get this message out, bro, about just being more confident in yourself. Because like I said earlier in the start, you can have all the tools in the world. You can have all the opportunities around you. But if you don't use them because your confidence is low, what good are they to you?
Amen. Amen to that, brother. Yeah, the interesting thing about that is I think most people, we get so caught up in thinking the real truth is we get caught up in the perception that we believe people perceive about us.
Ooh.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like we get caught up in an idea that we don't even know is true.
Right. Yo, you know what's so crazy too? You got me excited when you said that, because I just pointed out to one of my guys I coach. I was like, yo, do you understand you give more people power over you than they even want? Like, nobody wants to know what's going on in your head when you first walk into a room. But being that you're so insecure about yourself, you automatically think someone else is thinking about you, what you're doing.
Yeah. I wonder what they're going to say about my clothes I got on.
Right.
What they're gonna say about the way I look. What are they going to say about the things that I say? Like, we get caught up on that, brother.
And it's like, yo, how much power are we giving away right there, bro? You're giving away all your juice. Like I was trying to give my guy. I was so animated. That's why I'm excited right now just talking about it, because I was trying to express to him, like, yo, you're giving all of your juice away to somebody who's not even asking for it.
Right.
Like, people are not even asking for that juice from you. Like, they can only look at you for what you present to them. No one can see your hangups. No one can see your insecurities unless you start showing them. And how do they show? When you don't deal with them when you're by yourself. You got to deal with them. And that's the one thing I preach heavy. We got to deal with our insecurities before our insecurities deal with us.
That's a bar. That's a bar, Ryan.
Yo, T. But you think about it. Like, think about this, what happens to us. And this is what happens in the beginning of our lives. For instance, we walk into a cafeteria, right? One of people's biggest fears in school, going to the cafeteria and the whole cafeteria going up in the raw, laughing at something you have on or something, right? The cafeteria just pointing, laughing at you. That's everybody's biggest fear as kids for some reason. But the truth of the matter is, you're only insecure because you haven't dealt with that one, whatever that thing is that somebody could possibly point your finger and laugh at. So for me, you know what it was in high school? It was the fact that when I was younger, they called me bird chest, right? My whole family, skinny bird chest ass nigga. Like, they would clown me, T. They would go in on me. So in high school, one day, no lie, I came into the cafeteria with my wife beater on, skinny as hell. And they was like, yo, look at this baby and this wife beater. Like, it was going in on me. But what I had to realize was, like, yo, they only had the space to do that to me because I was not able to deal with the insecurity on my own. When I was by myself, I didn't look myself in the mirror and say, you know what, you're not a bird chest. You actually have a frame of a person that needs to work out. I didn't take the time to actually work out in that space to do it necessarily to get my confidence. So all of my insecurities were actually still being manifested because I was not dealing with it. But the moment I dealt with it, though, the moment I dealt with it, T, you know, hit that
different person, man. And that's the thing, man. Like, when you allow people, the people don't understand that when you allow people to poke at your insecurities, then you start becoming emotional, and then so therefore they control you. You're not in control of yourself anymore. You get out of character, you start reacting, and you experience, an exertion of energy, right? We only have a certain amount of energy a day. If you spend half your day responding to other people, then you can't spend that same energy focusing on your craft and becoming better, because you spend that on other people. So when you learn how to not pay attention to, the haters, when you learn not to pay attention to other people trying to control you, then you're able to spend more time into improving yourself, progressing, and then increasing your income, increasing yourself, or whatever.
So I heard a bar just now what you said. So basically you saying is, if you learn how to control your emotions, you know how to control the income, right? Like if you start controlling your emotions, you can then control your income. That's a bar right there. Because if you think about it, T, on a major scale, that's what's wrong with a lot of us black men, bro. We just don't know how to deal with our emotions. We just don't know how to deal with them. Like, we have this feeling that happens to us because of a negative situation or circumstance that we haven't been properly trained on to deal with, and we just react however we feel in that moment. So I think it's important for us, even as men right now, where we at right now, to start especially explain to younger men about emotional intelligence, about how to deal with your emotions, about how to just say, you know what, I know what this is. I know what this feeling is. I'm going to deal with this feeling accordingly. I'm not going to let it pull me out of my character. I'm not going to let it deter me from my goals, but I am going to deal with it accordingly.
Some say EQ is the highest form of intelligence.
Facts. Absolute facts in my book, because I don't even know what my IQ is, but I know my EQ is. You know what I mean? I'm heavy on EQ.
Yeah. So yeah, man. No, man. Listen, dude. I really appreciate you having me on this podcast, man. We got to do this again, man.
Yo, listen, T, trust me, you are family. And I'm gonna have you back on here absolutely more than right now, and more than once, more than twice, because like I really believe you got some more to offer, especially to young men in the world in this space, bro, about personally developing themselves and being more confident in who they are. Not because of the accolades that you've accrued now, but just for the things you've been through, right?
I appreciate
the experiences that you have to offer, and as well as the stories and the life experience, bro. So I thank you for coming through, bro, for real.
I appreciate that a lot, man. It means a lot, man.
Indeed. Yo, do me a favor before we get up out of here. Let everybody know how to contact you if they want for any of your services, bro. Let them know how to contact you, how to find you.
Yeah, just hit me up on IG or YouTube, Travis Believes, or you can hit my website up. The name of my company is Inner Light Media, but the name of my website is Inner Light Social. So INNERLIGHTSOCIAL.com, InnerLightSocial.com. And fill out the form. If you need any services regarding social media, I'm here for you.
Phenomenal. And let me tell y'all, man, he's a dope dude. If you're not following him on Instagram, you are truly missing out. I get a lot of my inspiration, a lot of my things that I speak on, and just a lot of my content, to be honest, from Travis. Like a lot of his posts are super dope. I take them and I spin them using my own words. So if you ever see some of my posts, T, and be like, wait a minute, that's familiar. No, I got it from you.
It's all good, man. I don't own knowledge, man.
Hey, man, and that's a phenomenal aspect of life, bro, because we all need it, right? And it all came from somewhere. We had to get it from someplace. So there's no need for us to hold on to it. Once again, T, I thank you so much for coming through. Everyone who's been with us, man, for the phenomenal conversation, please do yourself a favor, follow this man, get in contact with this man. It will definitely change your life. I am proof of it. Ever since I've come in contact with him, I've elevated. My life has definitely went from where it was and skyrocketed now, and my income, my impact, and everything else can improve and attest to it. So definitely do yourself a favor, follow this man and keep up contact with him. And also anyone following this podcast on the Uniquely Confident podcast, checking us out for the first time and you want to do subscribe, please do hit that button, man, and let everybody know. Share this with somebody out there. And remember, it's not about how someone else sees you. It's about how you see yourself. That's confidence, y'all. And guess what? Until the next time I see you guys, be good to yourself and the ones around you. And if you can't be good to the ones around you, that's okay. Just get those folk from around you. Yo, this is RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman, and this has been the Uniquely Confident podcast. Y'all be blessed out there. Peace, y'all.